All right, Ark Invest Innovation ETF. It's ARKK. And this, I was just doing a video on how the Qs and the big tech is sort of leading this crash down. Um, but I'm gonna show the difference between the S&P and the Qs and Ark right now. Um, so this is the Qs. Let me just look at the S&P right now and set this thing up. Because the S&P has the actual trend lines that you can figure out where the moves are going. And then the ARK and the Qs are just like a more exaggerated version of it. So you can see we had this first little crash and pop, whatever, a few weeks ago. And we have this kind of M-top turnover. It's above the previous peak here on the S&P. And then you can see the trend lines down here. When you get the down trend lines converging, that's where you pop hard. But every time you hit one of these, it's going to be a pretty good bounce. We bounced to the neckline here, so I'm thinking similar. Maybe that because it has a neckline there. That's a good target, and we probably go all the way up here because there's nothing else really in the way. I bet we do it, and then you can come and do your crash down, and this would also be a vertical V-shaped bounce, and this one has 3 trend lines. This has also the bull market support line and both of these down lines. So this is going to be a rocket, and then we'll figure out what's going on here. If we get above here, then we would shoot up to our big peak. That would probably be the last peak of the stock bubble. But anyway, so you can see here that this M top is above the previous top here on the S&P. If you go to the Qs, this M top's below the previous peak. It's like this previous peak barely affected the big tech stocks, but this down move is really affecting them, which is pretty interesting. But if you go to ARK, it's even more ridiculous. The M top is below the bottom of this whole thing. And this down move is insane. So the Ark Invest, just the way that it's structured, it's like a popularity kind of fund where the more people that invest, just the more stocks they buy up. So it's just like exaggeratedly people like flooding in and rushing it up. But then the same thing happens on the way down. When people are leaving, they have to sell out of their positions. You just get exaggerated moves up and down. It's kind of like a bubble, an extra bubbly ETF structure. And yeah, and you can see how it's going down way more than the Qs. Yeah, so this is probably the best rotational short play on big tech rotating out. So the idea kind of is that big tech will, like big risk and big tech stocks will rotate out before you get to the main bubble peak. Like this is sort of like a pre-peak. We're setting up the neckline and everything like that for the bubble crash, but this little couple of week turnover is not going to be this isn't going to be the pop of the everything bubble since 1982, just in like this little 1 week turnover. Plus, I mean, this convergence down here with 3 support lines is not going to let this thing go through. Like this is going to explode. So that's the idea, the trade idea that I have now, just for the timing of it and whatnot. It's like March 11-ish at 3,500-ish on the S&P, and then the neckline's at 38.26, and then March whatever 2019, 21, something like that. There's a weekend here. Yeah, so I guess say March 21, maybe for doing trades. Maybe if it's down here somewhere, you close your shorts out on the 19th. And none of this is investment advice, as always. Just entertainment value. Please smash the like button and subscribe. And I don't think there's a playlist for this one. I might put it in like the tech stock playlist. Yeah, and then look to go long on the 21st. Like, who knows what's happening over the weekend? Um, Something like that. Anyway, this is kind of the idea, but I really like the idea of shorting ARK right now because it's big tech centered ETF, but it just has the popularity kind of flood bubbly structure to it, and it's really seems to be leading the, like, not leading the market down, but um, just going down even more than the Qs are, which is pretty interesting. So I mean, you see the other stocks like Tesla is coming down too. It's not quite the same chart, but it's coming down with the big tech stocks. And then meanwhile, we have things like GameStop and meme stocks kind of hanging on or going up. Pretty weird trading activity right now. The market crash is looking like it's pulling like silver and gold down a little bit. Gold's breaking down under its last support that looked like it was going to hold. Silver just went vertical down. So market crashes are generally not good for silver, and this doesn't look great. I don't know how far it will pull down, but this is we're kind of up on a bubbly trend line here. This is the bull support line we've had since the previous crash, and pulling down under here isn't great. So I don't know what we might do. It looks like silver might pull down under, and then the next run be underneath the support line, and then it would probably pull down again once the stock market rolls over. So I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about silver. Although the silver minor charts are looking good, like they're breaking out, but it's kind of strange. Yeah, I guess I can look at some other stuff. I don't know if anything else particularly crazy went on today. Yeah, the precious metals have had a huge breakout, and this market crash is pulling all the metals back. And so it's possible that like platinum comes all the way back down to test the breakout range over this crash. But there might be a good entry on platinum. Copper looks like it will only pull back like to support. Like copper's on a freaking run. It's really crazy. Bitcoin is in a dangerous kind of spot. Let's check this out. Well, I don't know how dangerous it is, but I mean it's pulling back. It's pulling back, but it's not like ripping with the market. It's a little bit off in its own territory. It's above support, but it does look like it's pulling down to support, and we can see if the market crash would pull it even a little bit further. But I think if it does pull further, it probably is going to slingshot up from that point. So that could be a good entry into Bitcoin if you can pull it down a little bit further. Although this is concerning, Ethereum has really broken down, and it looks scary. So that's maybe not so good for Bitcoin either. I'm not really sure. Like if Bitcoin pulls down, how far it could pull down. Dogecoin is the weirdest. The weirdest. I guess this is a flag. I guess this is a flag into some kind of, I don't know. We're a long way away from support, but that might be a flag into a higher bubble trend line on the Doge. This is a weird chart. Yeah, we might pick up like a, if we start seeing like hopping like this, the Doge could blow up again. Keep an eye out for something like that. Coming back to support, this is Silver Miner AG, and this is a huge breakout from like a 20-year consolidation range. It just came out of the top. It looks like this crash will bring us back to support. And then I don't know, we might go for a run on the silver miners. See what kind of bounce we get if we get a bounce out of there. Oh, I don't know. What are some of the other kind of meme stocks like cost? Yeah, so like the GME chart looks pretty good, but these other ones are questionable. Maybe this one's alright. Maybe this one's gonna go for a run. If the next GME thing blows up, this one might go with it. And then GME. GME is the crazy one, which is it just consolidated. Here, let me zoom out a little bit more. So we popped up off the support down here, and we got back into like bubble territory. And now it looks like this is going to be sort of a ramp. This isn't a high enough angle to be a bubble trend line for like the short squeeze explosion, but it looks like we consolidated and popped, and we're consolidating into this. So you could do that 3, 4, or 5 times. This isn't a super high bubble trend line that you'd probably like smash through, but I mean, obviously the market crash is not pulling this thing down. It's freaking flagging up a support line right now. But what you would want to see on this is you want to see a pop and like a kind of a flag over, and then you can pick up a higher angle trend line. So what I was thinking kind of a few minutes ago on this is, you know, you can flag up this thing a little bit, and then if we pop, we probably would. We've already checked that. We've already checked this neckline. This is a neckline from the previous bubble. Here, that's our necklines, and we've been respecting the necklines pretty well with the movement since the bubble. And we checked that neckline and checked right down to this neckline and bounced. And then since we've already checked this one, you can just blow right through it. You probably hit this one. And this could be a good area to, if we go to like 340, and then you could flag kind of back to 200 and then possibly pick up a bubble from there. That was kind of my idea, just looking at the necklines and trying to figure out how this consolidation and this chart is shaping up. But I mean, you can see like the normal support is almost the same angle down here. So like this isn't like a bubble takeoff yet. It's gonna have to run out a little bit. Like you can see the similar thing here. Like you pop up and then you go over and you get onto like a little ramp, which is a lower angle trend line to just kind of reverse into the bubble. And then you pop up onto a higher one and then you take off. So that's the idea, is popping up onto a higher trend line and then just exploding. So I don't think that this move right here is quite a big enough pop to do that. Maybe it is. I mean, we're just kind of like right here. I mean, I guess that's kind of possible that it's like that. Like we could possibly like flag up and start a bubble from here. Maybe that's possible. But more likely we just kind of bounce on the ramp a few more times before we kind of pop. I think it should be a little bigger pop than that to get into a bubble, kind of a bubble trend line. But I do think that we're going to bump our head pretty hard on this 340 and pull back whatever the chart's doing at that point. I think the 340 is going to be a big resistance point, and a good upside target as well for for options. Let's see. That's, I don't know, that's probably good for now. Oh, oil. I think oil just broke out, right? Yeah, so this is an interesting chart. This is kind of a counter argument to the sort of the bubbly downward movement stuff I was just talking about. So you can see here that we started kind of stabbing down and we started rolling over and we set up this downward target. But we got intercepted by this bull market support line here and popped, like this thing just popped up and it's coiling above for a breakout right now. So that is gonna make gasoline more expensive, and that's gonna make the idea of shorting UCO a really bad idea. But yeah, I guess oil is just gonna probably break out of this zone. Let me zoom out and show you what's up with oil. This is a big deal. So oil's been in a downward consolidation since, oh, let me turn auto off. that that minus 40 on the futures contracts really messes this chart up. If you put it in logarithmic scale. Yeah, so this is the 2008, right? Yeah, so we've been just kind of in an oil bear market, and we're just testing support now. And so that was like the reversal off of support, but it looks like it's trying to break out. And this is way out on a weekly time scale. And that chart I was just showing you is like in on like a 15-minute time scale. So this is a tiny, tiny little move right near the long-term resistance, but it looks like we're keeping the support and it looks like we're popping out of here. So I think that might signal an oil breakout. Good to know. I think I looked at metals and stuff already. Whatever. That's good enough for now, probably. Happy trading.